Giants lose a tough one yesterday. We bring in our Giants expert from Big Blue. It's Byron Hunt. Mr. Hunt, sir, did the Giants lose or did the Redskins beat them?
Hey, that is a heck of a question. I feel very strange being called a Giant expert, because what expert could explain what happened yesterday at MetLife Stadium? I mean, I don't know to this, and you guys asked me this question before. I'm not sure what the New York Giants are doing. I mean, I know they didn't necessarily establish the run. They threw the ball, in my opinion, too much. The Giants gave that game away, guys. I mean, they jumped out all over the Redskins. And maybe me, like everybody else, including probably the entire Giants team and coaching staff, thought it was going to be a cakewalk. But you got to play the game the full 60 minutes. The Giants just fell all over themselves. I mean, too many interceptions, the ball on the ground all the time on offense. In my opinion, they got to get some interceptions. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's thrown for almost 1,000 yards. You knew he was going to have to throw the ball to win because their running game hadn't been that great. But the Giants have got to do better. Too many penalties. Over 100 yards of penalties. And Eli Manning has got to stop throwing these dunk and dink interceptions. The Giants gave the ball away. Hey, let me tell you, when you get in the mud and start waddling with the pigs like the Giants did that second half, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to get dirty, and it turn into a dirty game, and the Giants are not going to win that kind of game. The Redskins sucked them right in the second half and came out with a win.
Byron, I'm going to turn the attention to the sidelines now on Odell Beckham Jr.'s tantrum where he hits the net on the sidelines. He's crying. Let's go back to your career. Do you remember one of your teammates having that sort of tantrum or meltdown on the sidelines? And how did your teammates handle that player going nuts?
Absolutely not. I mean, I played under Ray Perkins, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick, Romeo Crennel. If anybody was throwing a temper tantrum, it was them, not the players. Are you kidding me? And plus, hey guys, you know this as well as I do, okay, is that do not get close to the kicker or anything the kicker is messing with. That is not for the kicker and the kicker only to touch. Nobody else should ever get close to that. And you know what? Odell Beckham has got to calm down. I mean, look, the Giants, and how can you can't do it, in my opinion, it can't be a better setup than what was set up, right? The Giants knew that the only way they were going to lose this game, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people, was to get down and dirty with the Redskins, and they sucked them right in. Sucked them right in. I mean, it was like taking a candy from a baby. I mean, the Giants could have just continued to throw the ball, to play good defense, but no, they got sucked right in, and look at what happened. It should never happen, and I guarantee you, if the Giants continue to do this, they're not going to make the playoffs. And they got a tough game coming up, besides the point.
So when a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. loses his cool, and you're right, it affected his teammates, and the Giants almost lost their mental thoughts of, hey, we got to stay in the game. Our focus needs to be on the field. When Odell Beckham Jr. is going crazy, who is that on? Is that on Ben McAdoo and the coaching staff for letting him act like that? Is that on Odell Beckham Jr. and he's the one to blame for losing his cool? Or does a captain like Eli Manning need to say, yo, chill, man, like we got a game still going on out here?
Well, Eli Manning did go over and say something to him on the sidelines. I'm not sure what he said. Like he said, hey, everything's going to be all right, calm down. But I think the coaching staff should have prepared those players. I guarantee you, matter of fact, I've been part of this. Bill Parcells used to try to incite people. Like, take, for instance, and I remember a particular situation where Bill Parcells told a center, I think we were going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Pittsburgh Steelers had a Pro Bowl center, and he told one of our centers on the scout team. The scout team is the players that actually show a picture for the defense or offense, depending on what end it is. And he told that offensive lineman to do everything he possibly could to hold Jim Burt, tackle him, do whatever you can. Because this guy is mean. He's a Pro Bowl player, and Jim's going to have to be prepared for everything. And let me tell you, by the end of the practice, matter of fact, the practice didn't even end. There was, about 10 or 15 people they were throwing fisticuffs everywhere, intentionally. And you know what? We went out and won the game. But Parcells would incite guys to do that just to see if you're going to lose your cool. And let me tell you, the coaching staff, Ben McAdoo, has got to tell his best player. Somebody say Eli Manning might be the best player. Both of those guys are very, 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 very valuable players to the Giants. Eli Manning is never going to lose his cool. We all know that. Right. But Odell Beckham, I don't know what has happened to him. Is this guy Norman in his head that much? If he is, then the Giants are never going to be the Redskins over the next 4 or 5 years, as long as number 24, who I just mentioned, is on the Redskins, because he is in Beckham's head. It looks like he got the whole team involved, and that's never good.
Byron Hunt, former Giant, helping us out on Mondays at 4:15. Thanks to Katie O'Burns, where you can watch every single minute NFL action and eat great food, drink cold beers. You said, Byron, that they got down in the mud with the Redskins. They let them drag them down in the mud. And then you told us about how Parcells would kind of push buttons to see where his guys were at. Do you put this loss directly at Ben McAdoo's feet?
Let me tell you, when the team gets, I think they got 125 yards in penalties on a lot of key plays. I think it looks very, very bad. That is undisciplined, and we all know. There's a couple different things that you can put right on the doorstep of the head coach. That's being out of shape and being undisciplined. Those two things are your team should not, excuse me. Your team should never have to worry about condition. That's the responsibility of the head coach. Also, the penalties. I'm sure the Giants do this, just like every other team does. They bring in officials to watch and, probably, hey, we're gonna have a chippy game. We need to bring the officials in on Thursday or Friday just to make sure that our players are ready for anything that might happen. And you have players, scout team players, that play other players on the opposing team. I'm sure there was somebody, a cornerback for the Giants. They might even brought, Eli Apple or Cromartie, one of those guys, one of those Giant starters, to play Norman, just to give the Giants the feel of what it's going to be like. Let me tell you, Norman, that guy, he is one of those players that is going to play right on the edge. It's like, I didn't get a teacher. I wasn't me. He hit me first. That's what Norman is going to do. He plays that way. You know what, some guys, and in sports, if you ever played any sports, maybe in business it happens the same way. There are going to be people that are going to play right on that edge or operate right on that edge. And when you look, they're not doing it. When you look away, what happened over there? That's exactly what Norman is doing. And you know what? And he was boasting about it in the press conference. You would think they won the Super Bowl. He was so delighted. And Odell Beckham, he is, in my opinion, the best wide receiver maybe in the NFL. But Norman cannot cover him one-on-one. He is not good enough. And I don't know what cornerback can cover Odell Beckham one-on-one. So Odell Beckham has got to be more poised, and the head coach has got to tell him that every quarter, after every series, remind him, because it's affected the entire game, especially the second half. No way the Redskins should win that game. But they won it. They won it.
Byron Hunt with us. Thanks to Katie O'Burns. Byron, so when you look at this team this weekend, this performance, are they still a playoff team in your mind?
Wow, They're 2-1. Look, if the playoffs started right now, I think they would probably make it as a wild card. I mean, there's a couple 3-0 teams. You got the Patriots. You got the Denver Broncos. You got a Minnesota Vikings who they're playing on Monday night. On Monday night, on prime time. That's going to be the only game on Monday night. And Minnesota's giving up roughly around 11, 12 points a game. They're not scoring a lot of points, but they're not giving up a lot of points. The Giants were playing pretty much the same way. I don't know. The Giants should be 3-0, yes. Okay, the Eagles are 3-0 as well. The Eagles, they beat Cleveland Browns. They beat another team that's 0-3 right now. The Bears. And they put a whooping on the Steelers. I mean, Steelers, they don't look like they're going to be that good, but it could be. Maybe they just had a bad day. So if the playoffs are going to start right now, yes. But heck, guys, we've only played 3 games. and look, we're still not sure. Look, I watched the film of, a lot of different teams around the league. I look at the coaching staffs, and I saw what the Buffalo Bills did to Arizona Cardinals. Some people consider the Cardinals to be one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, to have a chance to play, in the Super Bowl or definitely go deep into the playoffs. So coaching does have a lot to do with it. So I think going back to the question about McAdoo has got to prepare his players for this. He has got to do a better job, in my opinion, of taking all the things away that Eli Manning is poor at, which is throwing the short pass. But, guys, Eli Manning can throw the ball downfield with the best of them. Okay, and we shake our heads going, like, why did he throw that? You keep looking, he says, what? And there are all these 10, 15, 7-yard, 8-yard, 10-yard passes. That's what they're doing wrong. And, hey, guys, a turnover battle. I mean, the Giants, I think Eli Manning has 4 touchdowns. He's got 3 interceptions. Plus, he's got a fumble here. The offense is laying the ball on the ground. I think they put the ball on the ground. I mean, between interceptions and fumbles, I think they had 6. So they have basically 2 in every game. Might be maybe one more, but that's too many.
Right.
Especially when your defense is not getting the ball, taking the ball away through interceptions. Yes, they had a couple sacks, so Pierre-Paul played very well, I thought. But they're not taking the ball away enough for your team to be turning the ball over. And you look at the Dallas Cowboys, and we're in the same division. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles in the same division. They are not turning the ball over, okay? And they are winning. I mean, the Giants should not be playing this close of games. They're turning the ball over way too much. How can you stress it enough? I mean, you can't stress it enough. That's the biggest problem facing the Giants. Yeah, they had some penalties. That should have never happened. But sometimes you're going to have games like that. But turning the ball over is going to cost you games. It finally bit the Giants, and it bit them hard against the Redskins. And I don't think the Redskins are a playoff team. I don't think but they still got some weapons. And if you don't get to Kirk Cousins, intercept him, take the ball away, he can sit back there and throw the ball. Heck, there's a lot of quarterbacks that can sit back there and throw the ball. And Eli Manning, when he threw those interceptions, he didn't have any pressure on him. These are like unforced errors. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I think the Giants got a chance to do something down the road. And I went back and I looked at those Super Bowl years with Eli Manning. And I looked at one year he had 26 touchdowns. The other year I think he had 21 touchdowns. Well, guys, what the Giants have not been able to establish, they did pretty good last year with it, but they have not been able to establish that run. And when I say run, I'm talking about running the football.
Right.
They have not been able to do it. And that is going to be a problem. If you want to go deep in the playoffs, you need to try to have a balanced attack. They're throwing the ball way too much. They got to get some running backs. And yes, they lost Marine. And I don't got you for the life of me. I hate to see a guy, a productive player like Marine, be lost for the season. Looks like he's going to be out for the season. But he came from the Patriots. He never turned the ball over. Never.
Right.
He comes to the Giants, And I go like, what happened to him?
It's too much.
I think he had one turnover this game. And I think he's had 2 or 3 turnovers.
It's because there's too much air in the football, Byron. There's too much air.
You don't do that. You don't do that for the hire guy. You don't do that for the Patriots. So I think coaching is a big part of it. You want to give McAdoo a pass. Look, I don't know if you want to give him a pass, but look at the guy down in Philadelphia. He's never been a head coach before, right. And they're 3-0.
Absolutely. Byron Hunt, brought to you by Katie O'Burns. Byron, have a great week.
All right, guys. You too.